that I personally never really knew much about, that I had heard about. My friend Sasha here emailed me a link to a YouTube video, I don't know, like 4 months ago or so, of a Seventh-day Adventist Christian pastor who was promoting some of the ideology of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, which was a little shocking and even embarrassing for me as a Jew who's also a Seventh-day Adventist. With me here today is Sasha Blotnikov, who has his PhD in Judaic Studies from Hebrew Union College, which is a very prestigious, fabulous Jewish university here in Ohio. Where is it again?
Yeah, I was in Ohio because it has 3 campuses in the United States, in New York, in LA, and in Cincinnati, Ohio, also a campus in Jerusalem. But their School of Graduate Studies is in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, awesome. And this school trains rabbis and cantors, and actually, in fact, back in the day, my cousin was actually the head of their cantorial department. He was a cantor himself. So my family has connections to that school. And what's really interesting about Sasha Bolotnikov is that he also has a degree from the Christian University, Andrews University. And he is a professor now with Andrews University.
It's called the Green Passport. We're not told to wear it, but what they have done is they have essentially overnight created a second-class citizenry, a true medical apartheid that is disallowing healthy, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens from entering their places of culture if they do not participate in this experiment. It's that simple. We've been told there are people who've been kicked out of their choirs, out of their pools, out of their gyms. I don't know who's going to hear the message we're saying. I don't know what is going to become of it. I know that there is no other option than to give every fiber of energy and strength into battling this because there is no other option. There is everything to lose and everything to gain. I think it's actually never been simpler in some ways, and I believe that it's I believe quite simply that we are privileged to have this truth. There is truth that I think is a common denominator against all these different people, different countries, different languages, and we all are seeing and speaking a very clear truth. And I think that truth is an absolute gift, but it's an obligation. And it wasn't given to us to just sit at home and with this apathy and hope for the best. We've got to all come together because really this is how we win. Home and with this apathy and hope for the best. We've got to all come together because really this is how we win.
which is a center that he directs with the North American Division for Seventh-day Adventists. So Sasha has an awesome background. He is both Jewish and Seventh-day Adventist, and he has a master's degree in Old Testament theology from Andrews and Judaic Studies from Hebrew Union College. Has a master's degree in Old Testament theology from Andrews and Judaic Studies from Hebrew Union College.
Research into the problems bearing on Judaism and the Jewish-Christian relations will be encouraged among specialists. Research into the problems bearing on Judaism and the Jewish-Christian relations will be encouraged among specialists, particularly in the field of exegesis and sociology. So what do we have in common when it comes to exegesis? That is, unraveling the mysteries of the Word. Wherever possible, chairs of Jewish studies will be created and collaboration with Jewish scholars encouraged.
You ever heard the expression that opposites attract? It's strange, that the irony of that somehow, how people who are so opposite end up getting married. I don't know that it was ever more true than with my mother and my father. My mother was Jewish. My father came from a Baptist background. My mother was Jewish. My father came from a Baptist background. But with money, Dad knew a lot of people. He knew a number of presidents because he...
Connections between us, country after country, that is the only thing that these governments fear. They have the wealth of empires behind them. But when the people realize that we are the many and they are the small, they have nothing. They have nothing. And I can never give up on that hope that we're gonna build this force and take our lives back, because I've said before, I feel like the ball is in the air. You know, it's like this volleyball, and it's a matter of who hits it. We're not going back. There is no going back. There's going forward, and we have a tremendous opportunity. And we have a tremendous opportunity to come together as humans without the questions of religion. They're pushing us so far that they are making this complete reset. We get to actually be just humans in such a beautiful way. As painful as these divisions that they've made, we actually can come together in a way that's how it's meant to be. That's my opinion.
Ilana, Rachel, welcome in the Black Box studio. Yesterday I listened to a kind of a disruptive audio file from you all the way from Jerusalem.
It's a very bad situation here. They're making people wear an ankle bracelet. It's absolutely insane. But meantime, we just keep fighting, you know? Fighting as much as we can. So we need everybody's help, because whatever happens here will happen everywhere. Will happen everywhere. So we're fighting for ourselves and we're fighting for the whole world. But we need help. We need everything. Every hand on deck.
It gave me the goosebumps, and that's the reason why I wanted to talk to you directly to report from your side what is actually going on in Israel.
What's going on, in short, I don't know if there is a short version, but that our Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has taken the initiative to sign us up without our informed consent to be the experimental subjects for Pfizer's rollout of their experimental technology. And they are doing so with just short of brute force. Using coercive methods of threatening people with their livelihood, threatening young children, 16-year-old kids, that they can't take their matriculation exams. And the rollout of this has been very, well, this plan is for many countries. In other places, they give you the option to come and sign up, but here there's no option. You pretty much need to come and do it. It's already as if the science is settled, even though it doesn't even exist. And there's a profound governmental and social pressure already to rush into this this experiment. And in Israel, they don't even speak about it as if it's an experiment, where the rest of the world is fully aware that's exactly what this is.
Are you saying that vaccines are mandatory in Israel right now?
Vaccines are not mandatory in Israel. However, this COVID-19 shot is, well, it's just short of it. I mean, they say that it's not a have to and it's not a force, but the reality on the ground is people are losing their jobs if they're in the health, if they're doing any sort of health professional. There are many different places where people are told that you vaccinate or you're out.
You told me something before in this audio file about people wearing kind of a badge around their wrist, the free pass or something like that. What is that all about?
It's called the Green Passport. We're not told to wear it, but what they have done is they have essentially overnight created a second-class citizenry, a true medical apartheid that is disallowing healthy, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens from entering their places of culture if they do not participate in this experiment. It's that simple. We've been told there are people who've been kicked out of their choirs, out of their pools, out of their gyms. Like I said, there's incredible social pressure and division between families, and this illusion of science that you're not participating in, so therefore you become this virus-carrying threat to the rest of us, even though, of course, there's simply no existing safety studies. So it's really all, it's really, in the name of science, they're actually doing something that's really just an illusion.
What is happening with people from abroad entering Israel, for example, by an airplane? What do they have to do to participate in society again?
So it's one of the worst displays of what's happening we'll see in the airport. I actually just this morning read someone's personal account of coming home, and his parent happened to have been a survivor, a Holocaust survivor, and he literally felt that he was in a selection. It was very clear. Those who have taken the shot or have recovered from the vaccine get to go to the left. Those who have not go to the other side and are forced into these filthy petri dish hotels that they have to either sit there, and they're all swabbed with this PCR test. And then there's also the option, again, the rules change from morning to night. So, but there is also apparently for some an option to wear an actual security ankle bracelet, as if they're a prisoner in their own home, and you get to pay 2,000 shekels for the privilege of doing so. And this is what they're doing to their own citizens who have the audacity, I guess, to travel.
So what I understand is that the security wristband is actually a way of having a liberal quarantine at home.
Yeah, that's the liberal version. Correct. What we see here, and those of us in Israel, we understand that we are being used as a model for the rest of the world. And therefore, and because of the greater plans for this injection for the rest of the globe, and for the greater plans that governments want to take these controls that they have overreached, these implementations that they've imposed on us, there's the feeling that it has to work. They're giving us no choice because we are the model in order to show everyone how fantastic this new version of life is. So we're up against extraordinary forces. We know how the bottomless wealth of the pharmaceutical companies, and we know the governments across the world. So, but the year of extreme implementations and policies, it's all culminating here in Israel right now with the rollout of this program. So like I said, while in other countries there's still a choice, here, the only reason they don't, in my opinion, the only reason they don't physically force it is because there would be too great of an outcry. But they're doing everything just short of it. It's the same old story. It's the other. It's this version is it, it's the idea that this other is going to bring danger to my safe place. And that's what those people who are not willing to participate in this experiment have become.
Is there any resistance in Israel to these events happening? I mean, if you look at it in a historical and also religious perspective, you might say after what happened to the Jews through history and they finally have their promised land, it's kind of cynical what's happening now with the Jews in Israel.
It couldn't be, I don't know that it was planned from the outset to start here. I know that there are logical reasons why they rolled out this program here in Israel. But the particulars that our people went through the Holocaust, and you actually have some elderly people who were Holocaust survivors now being tested on in their homeland, in our place of refuge, again by the same company, only changed names. You really can't. You couldn't have tailor-made a bigger betrayal. Because the truth of the matter is this is supposed to be our refuge, and we are now front and center in a danger that no one can even define. We know many of the immediate health concerns, but the fertility issues, we have rolled out a program that, never mind the fact that the only group of people that was ever at risk of dying, with exception to this virus, who was 65 and older, and those with comorbidities, they put such a sense of fear that they rolled out this experimental program even into pregnant women, pressuring kids from age 16 and up, and women.
Imagine all that. They inherited lies, and it's all coming to pass. The lies that they inherited, the sons of perdition are being revealed. I find it ironic that everybody wants to come together now after they realize they're not living their best lives anymore. I'm just saying though. Y'all know how I do. I'll keep it a buck with me. I ain't gotta worry about keeping a buck. As long as I'm keeping it a buck with me, I'm setting the stage. I don't care about nothing else. But let's keep it a buck. That you got your promised land. So what happened? Y'all got y'all promised land. But I still didn't see the Most High gather y'all up from the four corners of the earth to wait. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. It's crazy. I'm not even gonna get into all that. But when you know what you know, and they still willing to lie. Now that they being stripped, and it's been a trap, an entrapment all along. Promised land, a place of refuge. Now, I don't know what she's talking about, but I know that she has been deceived. They all have been deceived, and I know this is the promised land right here, milk and honey. That's why all the Gentiles are trotting over this land until prophecy is fulfilled. But one thing is for sure, we have reached the peak. They say, oh, if you want to know what's going on in the Bible, look no further than Israel. Okay. Then you have Israeli. Then you have this New Testament. Then you have this illusion. Everything is a big old huge illusion. That's all I have for y'all right now. And I hope that y'all don't take this personal, but indeed, indeed, um, Most High is not playing with folks. Um, Most High is not playing with folks. So with that being said, Shabbat Shalom.